Well, hi everybody, and good Tuesday morning to you. Meteorologist Travis Klineski here at the KCB Local 4 Studios. Just finished up our show, and tell you what, not too bad of a day in store for us today. We have some departing clouds to the southeast. We had a surface trough move through overnight last night. That trough currently sits just east of the Missouri River there. You can see it on the very edge of your screen. That's going to take the clouds with it, so we should see a good deal of sunshine for the day today. West and northwest winds do get a little bit breezy for today at 10 to 15 miles per hour, maybe a little higher in spots. So a little bit of a breeze, but like I've been saying recently, not nearly as bad as what we had a couple of days ago. Heading into the overnight tonight, pretty quiet for the most part with mostly clear skies and maybe a stray cloud or two out there through the overnight, and temperature shouldn't be terribly cold. Tomorrow looks similar to today temperature-wise. The winds won't be quite as strong as they turn more west and southwesterly, and we will start to see more clouds later in the day. It becomes partly cloudy, maybe even mostly cloudy out west, and those clouds will thicken up a little more Wednesday night into Thursday as a cold front approaches. That front will pass through and bring some changes towards the end of our week, which we'll discuss in your 7-day forecast in just a bit. So for today, temperature-wise, we've got a lot of 40s, but 50s to the southeast. The reason why? Very little, if any, snow on the ground, and that's impacting things. And some of you may ask, why is it that snowpack influences temperature so much? Well, it basically has to do with the color of the ground. When you have white ground, that does a better job of reflecting the sun's rays. The solar radiation reflects back up into the atmosphere, so it doesn't stick at ground level, so we're losing heat basically is what that means. Whereas if you don't have snow on the ground, there's a lot more dark ground that can absorb the solar radiation much easier. The sun's rays absorb into the darker ground a little bit easier, meaning that the ground heats up a little bit more, and so that's why you have warmer temperatures across the southeast, where it's going to be in the low to mid 50s today, whereas most of us will see 40s for afternoon high temperatures, including the Tri-Cities in the mid to upper 40s. Overnight tonight we'll drop back into the mid to upper 20s and lower 30s, pretty similar to this morning. And then tomorrow's temperatures, once again, almost a repeat temperature wise, not much of a difference. A lot of 40s, but again, more 50s across the south and the east, where there's very little, if any, snow on the ground in those locations. Thursday, talked about a cold front coming through. We're going to start to see some cooler air come in, especially up north, where there'll be 30s for highs in northern and western Nebraska. Most of us still managing 40s, and then near 50 in the southeast. I think the winds are going to pick up, though, later in the day after that front comes through. So the wind speeds do get a little breezy towards the end of the day Thursday and continue to be fairly strong overnight Thursday night. Not like what we had this last weekend, but noticeable. We're talking 10 to 20 mile per hour winds out of the north behind that front. So we've kind of summed up these first 3 days of the forecast. Again, nice, pretty decent for early December. You got to keep in mind, our average high today is 40, so we're doing good today, the next couple of days. In fact, even Thursday, still slightly above average. We really start to feel the effects of that colder air behind that front towards Thursday night into Friday. We're down to 21 Friday morning, a high in the upper 30s on Friday. Still a few clouds around on Friday, partly to mostly sunny skies, but a few more clouds around. But jumping right back into the upper 40s to near 50 over the weekend. A little breezy again on your Saturday, more of a southwesterly wind of 15 to 20 miles per hour. Sunday not quite as breezy. A few more clouds around ahead of our next cold front that will come through Sunday night into Monday, and that's going to drop us back on Monday. We're looking at a high in the lower 30s and a breezy wind behind that front. At this point, I did not include any precipitation in the forecast. If we see anything, it would be extremely minor. Some forecast models have some snow flurries kind of dotting the landscape here and there, but I don't think it'll be anything significant. But there are big changes in the long-range forecast. If you've been watching over the last 24 hours, so for instance, if you watched my forecast yesterday, well, this has changed a lot. Now you see a lot of above average over the next 6 days, except for Friday, which is just barely below average there. Friday, that's only going to be about two or so degrees below average. Because I think by Friday our average high is in the upper 30s. But the drop in temperatures, again, starting on Monday, well, yesterday I talked about how it was going to warm right back up by the middle of the week, back to the 40s, and we would see warm weather return for the end of next week. Well, recent forecast models that have come out over the last 12 hours or so have reversed that completely. And not just one model, but all forecast models that I look at long range are all reversing course and going cold, basically putting Arctic air in place next week. Does not look like much precipitation with that, but it will look to remain kind of cold for the through the middle and end of next week, the way it looks at this point here. So that's kind of the big change. And the reason I also want to talk about this is not only did I mention this, but the Climate Prediction Center, it's called the CPC, they put out those 8 to 14 day outlooks just to kind of give you an idea if it's going to be above average or below average. Well, this graphic, this map has been floating around on social media, and even our own Tim Jones posted it yesterday, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. Was showing above average temperatures. Even if you go to the National Weather Service Hastings website, front and center on their page, that map is there, and it says above average temperatures. This is a change that's happened pretty much overnight, so haven't had a chance to kind of correct that until now, and that's why. So I'm not saying that Tim was wrong, or even that the Weather Service was wrong for posting that, because all forecast models are hinting at us warming back up later on next week, and we see a lot of above average temperatures in that December 8th through 14th time frame. But that has changed now, and so now it's kind of looking at like it could be on the colder side of things. That said, we are still over a week away. Models may reverse course once again and go back to above average. So that really anything after Monday, take it with a grain of salt. We could see changes to the forecast before we get there. It's a long ways out yet. But like I said, as of right now, over the next 7 to 10 days, I don't see much moisture coming into play here. These Arctic cold fronts look to be drier cold fronts, not a lot of precipitation. We're not looking at massive storm systems coming out of the southwest United States like what we saw last week here. So very little precipitation expected over the next 7 to 10 days. All right, with that, I'm going to let you all go. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. We'll talk to you all again on your Wednesday morning. Hopefully there aren't more big changes to the forecast models, but if there are, I will let you know about them. Until then, take care, enjoy your Tuesday, and God bless. Bye.